Most beginner filmmakers buy one of these before they even know how to hold a camera. Honestly, it's one of the biggest mistakes that I see people making in their beginner filmmaker career. There's this belief that if your footage is floating, then it is cinematic. And quite frankly, it is just floaty. There isn't anything particularly cinematic about it. This was first sort of proliferated into being with the thought of Instagram and short form content, reels, TikToks, that sort of thing, whereby you have a short frame of time to capture people's attention, and movement is the key to that. If you have big, quick, fast movements, the viewer's attention is going to be solely on that until they get the little bit of kickback that gives them the dopamine rush. The next reason that this is a wide belief is YouTube gear hype. It isn't always the gear that gives you the most cinematic shots. You have to learn to utilize filmmaking, storytelling as a craft. I've touched on it in every video previously, but learn your craft first. The gear is secondary to that. A key way to think of it is the likes of, in my case, it's I work a 9 till 5 and I do freelance work, and spending £500 to £700 on a gimbal package or combo pack isn't realistic if I'm not going to get monetary gain on the other side of that purchase. It's just not a plausible thing to do. The likes of content that does benefit from having a gimbal are your real estate walkthroughs, the likes of wedding videography, and then you've got the likes of product tracking shots and commercial push-ins. Put it down to the key elements. Movement with purpose is really good, and random floaty movements are bad. You have to have motivation behind your camera movements in order to make things look cinematic. What I commonly see when beginners go wrong is that they use a gimbal for every single shot. You have to balance it out, and a prime example is the likes of Casey Neistat. He uses predominantly a camera on sticks rather than any sort of gimbal work. And when you use the gimbal, or when he uses a gimbal, you can tell it straight away, and you know for a fact that it's for this reason. You can instantly highlight key points that you want to draw attention to when you use it sparingly. Where I've seen beginners go wrong with gimbals is that they use it for every single shot. There's no balance or compositional thought to this, and they forget that tripods exist entirely. If your framing looks bad when it's locked off, adding movement to that is only going to compound that fact. A balanced shot is always going to look better than just balancing your gimbal. Unless you're specifically going for the feeling of anxiety, then don't just throw your camera on a gimbal and start shooting, because that's instantly what you're going to make your viewers feel. And in professional work, the likes of my freelance work, put it this way: has a client ever asked you if you have a gimbal? There will be ones out there that do ask this, but there will be specific reasoning for it. The likes of real estate, the likes of wedding videography. Clients that are looking for their message and clarity to be given across won't really care the method in which you do it. They just want the output to be clear and concise. The gear in order of importance, if you're not taking into consider a camera, is lens, good lighting, your audio is key, and then a good tripod set of legs for you to be able to lock shots off and not worry about your camera shaking or wobbling. And then finally, and only then, I would say consider getting a gimbal. Gimbals are 100% a nice to have. They're not an absolute foundation that you need to start your filmmaking journey, whether it be freelance or as a hobby. The times where you should buy a gimbal straight off the bat is the likes if you're shooting weddings weekly, you've got real estate shots to shoot, you want to be able to do repeatable, trackable shots for the likes of visual effects. Genuinely only get one if it is going to directly increase your income that you've got coming in. I'm saying this from a personal standpoint that I fell into the pitfall of the YouTube gear hype. I knew how to use a camera, I knew how to set it up and get the compositions correct, but I don't think I was quite at the stage where a gimbal was going to benefit my journey. I was shooting wedding videos every so often, and the promotional videography, like I said, it was more about the clarity of the message than the cinematicness of the shots or the wonder of one shot out of a minute-long, 2-minute video showing the services that these companies provided. So like I say, gimbals aren't bad, but they're not magic. With movement, you have to have motivation to your shot. Otherwise, it just becomes a floaty, anxiety-ridden mess. If you're working a 9 to 5 and doing freelance on the side, trying to build it into something bigger, then click that like button down below, hit the subscribe button, and follow along whilst I document the journey. If you're also interested in tutorials, there will be more of that on this channel too. Until next time guys, take it easy.